guys, and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a video called Is God Mad at Me? And I feel like Christians a lot of the time, even people that aren't Christians, just subconsciously think this question and don't realize that they're thinking it. And I know that I was one of those people that was subconsciously thinking this question, and I just want to share with you who God actually is and his actual character. And this video should be pretty encouraging to us, should be pretty inspiring to us. I hope it is for you, because I know just doing this study, it did that for me. So yeah, let's just get on into this video. How many of you guys have heard someone say, or maybe you've said it yourself, if I step into a church, I'll burst into flames? Or people say, I can't go to church because I just went to a party this weekend, or something like that. People always make those kinds of excuses, and I feel like a common misconception for Christians, for people maybe that don't know a lot about God, is when we sin, we think that God no longer can stand to be around us. God can't stand to look at us. Just when we do wrong, God just wants nothing to do with us. And I'm here to say that's a misconception, and that's not true. When I was growing up, I put a lot of pressure on myself to live up to people's expectations, especially my parents' expectations, and I always wanted them to be pleased with me, to be happy with me, especially my mother, and I really wanted her to be pleased with me, just to be happy with what I was doing with my life. And when I made decisions that I knew she didn't agree with, I felt like she just didn't want anything to do with me. I just felt like I couldn't talk to her for a while. I just felt like our relationship was very strained because of a decision that I made that she may not have liked. And this translated over into my relationship with God without me even realizing. I was having that same mindset with my relationship with God. When I did wrong, I felt like my relationship with God was broken and was strained. I felt like he didn't want to be around me, and I felt like I had to gain back what I had lost when I did wrong or when I sinned. The book that I'm reading and that I'm talking about in my favorites video is this one. It's The Pursuing God, and I'm just going to read a quote out of this book that has really kind of helped me with this mindset and just kind of shifting it. It says, "It's not that God can't stand us when we sin, it's that sin can't stand the presence of God." Literally in the Bible it says demons flee when they hear Jesus' name. Satan and demons and all those things, they can't stand God. It's not that God's afraid to get dirty and is afraid to be in our mess and be amongst us when we sin. It's that sin can't stand it when God's there. When we sin or when we do wrong, the enemy is pushing us away from God. And sometimes we even do this to ourselves. And we push ourselves away and we say, oh, I can't go back to God now because I did this last Friday or something like that. And I know that I have definitely done that, where I thought, I can't go back to God now, so I might as well take a break for a few days, which seems so ridiculous, but I feel like it's just something we subconsciously think and aren't even realizing that we're doing in our relationship with the Lord. The thing is, and I've heard this once, I think in a sermon, is someone said, I don't remember, but they said, when you feel like you're not close with God, guess who moved? God didn't move. God's always there. He's always present, and he always wants to be around us. We're the ones that moved, or sin has pushed us away from God. The enemy has pushed us away from God. It's not that God moved, because God can't stand what we did or stand who we are. It's that sin can't stand God. There's a really good song out right now, and maybe you've heard of it. I don't know if it's super popular or not, but it's called Defender by Upper Room Worship, and I just love the bridge to this song, and I feel like it goes along with this topic so well. It starts out by saying, "When I thought I lost me, you knew where I left me." When we sin, I don't know about you, but I don't feel like myself anymore. I just feel really just icky, and I just don't feel normal, like the normal Hannah that God created me to be. And when we sin and we lose ourselves, Jesus knew exactly where we left off, and he wants to bring us back to that place. And that's why it's so amazing what God wants to do in us. The next part says, "You reintroduced me to your love." And I think what's amazing is not only does God want to bring us back to who he originally designed us to be, to who He created us to be, where we left off. He wants to reintroduce us to His love. He wants to just overflow His love on us. Even though we just did something terrible, He still wants to bring back that love and joy that we missed out on. That's also awesome, something we definitely don't deserve, but I really appreciate that that's what God does for us. The last part of this bridge says, you picked all my pieces, you put me back together. The last step when we come back to God after we sin is not only does He want to bring us back to who we are, He wants to reintroduce us to His love. He wants to mend every part of us that got broken while we were away from Him. He doesn't want to leave us the same. He wants us to be molded into someone that He created us to be, and He doesn't want to leave us in the dirt and the brokenness and the mess that we once were. And I don't know about you, but I definitely need some of that pieces put back together, and I really am so glad that that's what God wants to do for us. He doesn't want to leave us the same, and He doesn't want to leave us without love or wondering where He is. He's always there, right where we left off, and it's just so good. The last thing I want to read to you is from Matthew 18:12 through 14. It says, what do you think? If a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish. God doesn't want any of His lost sheep to perish. He's always pursuing us. He never wants to see us fail, to see us in brokenness, in darkness. He will leave the 99 for us, just for us, for each and every one of us, and He will mend all of our pieces, put us back together, just like that song says. So I don't know about you, but I definitely dealt with this mindset for a long time, and just studying about this topic and reading the Pursuing God and just things the Lord has been revealing to me has just kind of revolutionized this mindset that I didn't really know I had. So that is all I have to share with you today. I hope it's encouraging to you, and if it is, I encourage you to comment down below just how it encouraged you and just maybe an example of this mindset that you had in your own life, and just whatever you want to comment, just leave it down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was encouraging to you, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye, guys! And just kind of clarify this little... How many of you guys have heard someone say, or maybe you've even... When I was growing up, it was really hard for me because... You know, that makes... What do you think if a man owns 100 No.